your eyes and actually be there again.
I used to do the same thing, you know. I used to like do a diary like every evening after like most of my days.
I don't think that was gonna happen.
Alright, cool. So yeah, man. We're here with fucking Lavan. I haven't seen him in like how long?
It's been,
Well, before obviously we met up the other day, but how long?
yeah. It's been about, I think, 6 or 7 years, right?
Yeah, so I basically haven't seen him for 6-7 years, right? Then randomly I stumble upon this YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Because you obviously messaged me after like a long time,
Yeah.
saying, yo, I'm doing YouTube again. I was like, what? It's like, I've always wanted to do YouTube, but I've always been scared, innit?
Yeah, I actually can't remember how you saw my YouTube. Did I tell you?
I think you WhatsApped.
I think I might have sent you a video.
Yeah.
About dancing.
So he WhatsApped me like I think it was like a freestyle dance video. I think it was maybe one of the first ones you posted.
Okay.
Or when you just started posting them, innit?
Yeah, or it might have been a tutorial.
Like, this guy, I've never seen him this happy in my life. Like, yeah, bro, I think he's trying to like show everyone his white teeth, innit? He's been dentist bare times, you know what I mean? Like, he goes frequently. So, I mean, tell us a little bit more about your dancing, and then just introduce yourself in it. Like, his name's Lavan, and then you can take it from there.
A lot of people get my name wrong. It's not Lavan.
I forgot. He told me last time as well.
Yeah, it's Lavan. It's Lavan. So
that's my name, cuz.
I've been calling it Lavan all this time.
To be honest, yeah, a lot of people get it wrong anyway, so I don't even bother correcting them anymore because it's just a bit long. But yeah, my name's Lavan, and I know CJ and I know Miss Arnolly as well. We met like 6 years ago, I think. And
first day of sixth form, by the way.
Yeah, sixth form was a good time actually. And yeah, man. I've been dancing. I've always loved dancing. Even when I was young, I used to pull out some moves, and people would be like, "Where did that come from?" You know?
Yeah, no, 100%. I remember in sixth form, bro.
Yeah. So I was just like, "Cool. You know what? Yeah, let me do some more dancing. You know, let me carry on dancing." And it got to a point where, you know, even like clubs and events and stuff, I would pull out some crazy moves, and people would just be like, "Whoa!" Like, I never saw this side of you, you know?
Yo, and especially girls, you know, because like this guy was kind of quiet, innit? And girls really like took a liking to just his dancing, like they would tell me, bro, and I'm like, bro, like he's not even here right now. Right? But like even behind your back, people were like, yo, this guy is sick. You know what I mean? And when people give praise behind other people's backs, that means they're doing something amazing, innit?
Yeah. And and ever since like I had that passion for dance, got to a point where I joined my breakdance society at uni.
Yeah.
First year, because you know in the first year you're sort of just everywhere. You just want to be a part of everything.
Yeah.
And from there, like that's where I started to get more confidence, and I started doing breakdance moves, and started to learn new things.
Yeah.
And after that, we started going to like freestyle events in different areas. And we went to one in Newcastle, and that is where I saw a lot of like madness going on.
What, in Newcastle?
Bro. Yeah, Newcastle.
What, you mean in terms of like parties and stuff? Because I know Newcastle was renowned for like crazy parties, innit?
It wasn't a party, but it was like a breakdance event where different unis come, and Newcastle was the host.
Oh, okay, fair.
And everyone would battle each other,
you know.
Yeah. And we were sort of like beginners because we weren't really like professionals like all the other teams were in other unis. And we still pulled off a good like sort of battle against other unis, but we don't really do that great. And like that was one of the experiences. And then after I finished uni and I started working, I was just like, this can't be it. This can't just be it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, what, this full-time work and that's all. There's got to be other things. And that's when I was like, let me start my own YouTube channel. And I started posting videos, and they weren't great, but people actually liked it. People actually watched it as well.
Now you get views. You get a couple views, you know?
Yeah, I get a couple views.
I know like the main purpose of it is to make people smile, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it sounds very
and
similar
it's also to like push people to like dance as well, you know? Give them a bit more confidence, because a lot of people don't want to show their shit.
Yeah, man. Like,
you need to kind of make people come out of their comfort zone, you know? So I feel like...
So that's what that was for you? That was like
it's
you
like,
coming out of your comfort
zone? You don't have to be scared, you know? If you want to do something, just try it.
Yeah.
And hope for the best. And if it doesn't work, at least you tried. So it's better than nothing, isn't it?
So I feel that. It sounds pretty similar to CJ's story, actually, you know? Yeah. When he tried to branch out from like this whole 9-to-5 agenda through his music, right?
You
So
know,
you're
even that
academic.
first time I met
Yeah.
you, CJ, I remember you telling me about music, and you were like,
Yeah.
you were just one of those people that always wanted to go hard with it. So
Do you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
always that little spark in it.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
everyone shows a little spark through like exploring all of their interests, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess one of yours is dance and one of yours is music, you know? So and I guess mine is writing, you get me?
When you get the spark, if you don't act on it, then you know nothing's gonna come from it.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like an idea is just an idea
And
until
plus,
you
I
put
know
some
a lot-
execution behind it.
I know a lot of
exactly,
people
you know?
that actually have like a good talent, yeah, but they don't want to.
Come out of their comfort
They don't want
zone,
to
innit?
Yeah.
try it, and they don't want to use it. They just
Yeah.
think, oh nah, like
You know, what will people
it's not gonna
say?
work. They've already decided that it's not gonna work. You know,
Yeah.
like they shouldn't do that. They should try it and see how it goes.
It's like living with the inner box. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like you're just not pushing out the boundaries. You're not making that box bigger, so you're not bringing in extra energy to that box.
You're just playing it safe
You
all
know?
the time, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like there's this quote, right? It's like nothing grows within the comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not doing anything different.
Exactly.
So how are you gonna expect a different result? You know what I mean? It's just simple stuff, man. So talk to us about Krishna Consciousness. Because I hear
get
like
into the big
you
subject.
said that on here, like in your little introduction, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I bet people were like, what the fuck is Krishna Consciousness? You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
you've done like a kind of 180 based on our previous conversation. So from my point of view, I'm like, okay, cool. Like he was this way, like he was going through uni, doing like everything you could imagine, right? Like Freshers Week, you know, indulging in parties, you know, doing whatever on the side here and there. And then after uni, you kind of had a different light come into your life. So
Yeah.
I guess break that down for people who don't
Yeah,
know.
man. So, yeah, throughout my life, basically, there was ups and downs. You know, there was ups and downs, and you know, after certain times in my life, there was like certain struggles in it, and that made me question like so many things about my life, and like, what I'm doing correct, or was like, you know, am I really thinking of what I'm doing before I do something? And you know, I stumbled upon Krishna Consciousness one day when it was a time where me and my mate, he goes to another uni, and we met up and we were like, let's go to our other mate's uni in Birmingham because there's an event there. So we ended up going to Birmingham, and I met my friend there, and he just came back from a long trip that he went to in India.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen him, bearing in mind, for like years, and he's just
How
come
many
back.
years? Like,
I think it was like 2 or 3 years or something like that, but
yeah.
it was a long time.
Yeah, so you haven't seen him for a while in
And-
like his stages of growth. innit?
Exactly, and
That
and,
fundamental,
and
yeah, cool.
also I knew like how he was before, you know, and I was just like, yeah, he's gonna be the same. And then when we went, we didn't even see him at first. We just called him to be like, yeah, we go. There's an event right next to you.
Yeah.
Like, come out.
Yeah.
And
And you'd expect him to be like jumping at the chance. you get
Yeah,
me?
because he's always one of those guys.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, come on, you know what I mean?
Nah, like in uni, bro, like if someone told me there was a party and I had a submission that night, I would go to the party.
Bro, this guy is
Fuck
hard,
it, I'd go to the party because I'd be like, okay, cool, I can waffle some shit on my
Yeah.
marketing degree.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
after that happened, and I was like, yeah, you coming out? It's like, it was just like not on it, and I was just like, this is not you. This is something different. Like, what's going on here? So, anyways, we were like, fair enough. Like, do you know what I mean? And he was telling us like reasons why he didn't want to come out. They were reasonable explanations as well. So we were just like, cool. And then me and my mate, we went to the event, and it was cool. And then the next morning we stayed over, and
Yeah.
we were like, we should link him, like, just to see how he is. And I remember we called him up. We were like, yeah, come out, man. Let's see how you are and stuff.
Yeah.
And he came out, and he just looked like a completely different person.
Yeah.
And that's when I first came across the whole Japa bag here, the beads inside.
Yeah.
And he was wearing tilak as well. And
What's
I
the
was-
like?
Tilak is like a sort of a mark you put on your forehead.
Okay, yeah, no, I've seen it.
And you say mantras when you put it on
Yeah.
your forehead. And I was just like, whoa, like, bro, like, what's going on here? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
Like,
just switched it
whoa.
off.
And I was
No,
just like,
because me and CJ, we actually had a boy. His name's Philip, innit?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he did similar kind of things because he was Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously I'll link you up with him. I told you I would,
Yeah.
so it's gonna happen, innit?
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, his dad was
Yeah,
very
Spiritual.
very spiritual, very religious, and he always used to tell us like little life lessons, you know.
Yeah,
You know them uncles who always give you that nugget of information that you need at that very
It's
moment.
like a sage, you know. It's
That's
like one of
him.
those wise people that
Yeah,
just
exactly.
drops a line, and that one line he drops will just be so like
Yeah. It
massive.
reminds me of Gandhi and his temperament.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
So after that, he was just like talking to us, and we were like, it's nice to see you, it's good to see you again, and stuff like that. And he was sort of chanting as well, and I was just like, what's he saying? Like, I've never heard this before. Like,
Yeah.
and he was just chanting the mantra, and then
Wait, was he just trying it randomly?
Well, so as
as he was walking towards us, he was chanting, and I can hear him chanting, and I was just like,
Oh, just like in his head.
yeah, they chant,
Okay,
you
okay,
obviously chant in your head,
Yeah.
and I was just like, okay, cool, like this is something new.
You
Like,
might
why
chant
not
out loud,
see what this
you
is?
know what I mean?
Huh?
You might chant out loud, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine if he was
yeah.
chanting out loud.
But a
'Cause
lot
I
of people
swear,
do
no,
that.
a lot of people
A lot
do
of
that
people do
because they believe in it so much they don't care what everyone else thinks. You know? Carry on.
So he took us back to his room afterwards, and as soon as we walked into his room, he was like, "Take your shoes off," and I was just like,
Oh, bringing the bad energy into
okay,
the house.
cool, you know what I mean? Took my shoes off, and then I come into his room, and it's just a whole load of like pictures of Krishna and like all the gurus and all the disciplic successions.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, man, this is crazy. Like, is this what we've got in another country? And he comes back to here again. It's just completely changed. And
Yeah, you think he's like taken upon all of the principles that he's seen in India, and now he's become that person. And you, as his friend, you're like,
Exactly.
there's either something here or he's gone crazy. Basically, that's what you're thinking, right?
Yeah. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, I realized that what he was doing has really changed him in a good way,
Okay.
in the best way possible for him, because he was going through a lot before he went to India. He was around like bad associations and people that, you know, weren't really helping you in your life, but kind of just there for having
Entertainment
enjoyment
value.
and having
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
And and say for example you get into some kind of fight or something, you think that person will back you, they're just gonna run away, you know. So after he took this path, he changed, and he was just like so becoming more of a humble person and more righteous, you know. So that made me realize that this is something that I should also take on board, because at that moment in my life I was also questioning a lot of things and I was struggling.
Yeah.
And that's how it really came upon the whole Krishna consciousness. But I slowly started to understand more of what he was doing.
Yeah.
And you know, I was practicing a lot of discipline in my life as well. So I was kind of restricting myself from a lot of things, and stopped drinking alcohol, and kind of started closing down my circle into a lower, like, you know,
And
less
into a
people,
tighter knit, like
more like, you know,
more
keeping it
mutually
cool,
beneficial
like
kind of circle.
knowing who I'm really with, you know,
Yeah.
being careful.
And knowing that you can trust those people.
Yeah.
Right? What I want to give the people, right? Whoever the fuck's watching, maybe there's 2 people, maybe there's 3, who knows, right? But they need to understand how you were before you started all this Krishna consciousness.
Oh,
because
right.
a lot of people
Yeah.
would be like, okay, cool, like this guy is like trying to be Sadhguru. I don't know if you know who Sadhguru is.
Yeah, I know who Sadhguru is.
Go on YouTube, like he's like, okay.
He's so popular on YouTube.
Yeah,
man.
he's
got so many
popular
views.
because, like, you know what, he says it kind of how it is, and he like jokes around, and he has that like amicable personality, and that's probably why more people can relate to him. You get me?
Yeah.
But it always seems that when people go down a spiritual path, it's because they went through something either traumatic or disgusting in their life, innit? Whether it be like a breakup in a relationship, whether it be like an overload of alcohol throughout years, and you're like, okay, I need to fix up now, or whether it be just realizing that you deserve more in life, innit?
Yeah.
So what was that for you?
So for me, you know, it was sort of, I was a bit of a like, do what I wanted to do sort of person. You know? I didn't really think about what I was doing. Obviously, my parents were like disciplining me in the correct way.
Yeah, of course.
But they were sort
Shout
of
out to
also trying to
parents.
control my life. I mean, they didn't even realize they were controlling my life, but
Yeah.
they were controlling it anyway.
They never do.
You know,
They
because
never
they
do
think
until
that
it's too late,
they think
right?
that you have to stick to a certain way and you have to do a certain thing,
man.
and you have to be like just like how all the other ones are doing. You know, they don't want to make you do what you want to do, what you really want to be.
Yeah.
Why are you here for? You know why you're here, but do your parents know? They don't know really,
And
but they
it's
can guide
especially
us.
Asian backgrounds, you know.
Yeah, they
Like,
can
I
guide
see
us at
I
least.
see it a lot because what they do from birth, they're like, okay, cool. What we're gonna push this kid to do is either doctor, lawyer, or surgeon.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And you gotta get top
know?
grades, you know.
And you got
your
top
cousin,
grades, and
you
you
hear
have
one
to fit
day.
in this box that they see success as, because really and truly they want the best for you, but they were only taught a strand of information that pushes them to believe that their kids should be going in that direction.
Exactly.
And if they don't fit in that mold, they worry. They're like, oh, why is he not seeing that this is like the way forward?
And I think reputation for them is very important as well, you know. They want to be known and they want to be like highly respected, which
Yeah.
is not really.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but it's also
It's not the main thing in life.
Yeah, it's not
you
the
know?
main thing in life, and it shouldn't be it shouldn't be pushed, like, you know.
Yeah.
The main
Like
thing.
for example, like I'm a Muslim, obviously, right? But if I were to go to this park right now and pray, I would be a little bit wary. You know what I mean? And then I would be wary about what people are thinking about me because of that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not societally accepted. You know what I
But
mean?
you know,
like,
if you were-
you pray at church, right?
I don't go to church.
You know, okay. So bad if you did, hypothetically, would you go and pray like out here? Probably not,
Nah.
right?
It'll be in either my house. It'll be
But it
either
depends,
in
though.
church.
It does
but-
depend, because if you're advancing in your belief and you're gaining more, faith, then you'll start to not really care.
You care less and less and
You
less.
care less and less, and you don't really pay attention to what other people are doing, because you know that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, man. And
So-
like this is like obviously it's a self-development channel, isn't it? People who watch this probably watch people like Gary Vee. And Gary Vee is always like, listen, it doesn't matter about what external factors are happening. It doesn't matter how people perceive you for chasing the dreams that you want and fulfilling that specific industry that you want to be in. You know, it doesn't matter, because if you do what you love, then you love what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's very similar to what Krishna Consciousness. There's Srila Prabhupada, who was the he's sort of the one that brought the disciplic line down as well from higher people, and he preached the whole fact that we shouldn't let the environment control us, and we shouldn't let it change us. You know, we should carry on our responsibilities, and our duties without the environment affecting us. And I think the environment's a very important aspect right now in this present time, bro, because it's such a big distraction.
You were saying it's like a corrupt environment.
It's so corrupt, and it's just so, everything's being pushed in the wrong way.
Everything is pleasure driven nowadays.
Yeah, and it's all instant gratification.
That's
you
what
know?
we're talking
That's
about.
just
Heavy.
gotta be careful, man.
Like on my
chasing
Zanwords page, I don't stop banging on about instant gratification and how bad it is, and why you should aim to fail sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, you have to hit walls, you have to make mistakes, you have to brush your shoulder off, sometimes,
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you're not gonna grow.
Exactly.
And that means you exist in your comfort zone again.
That's how it works as well, Like, you gotta go through so many suffering to realize.
You have to go through
You gotta go through a lot of and you gotta take risks
you
as
know?
well, And if you fail, but you learn so much from that L.
Exactly.
You took.
And I guess that's why I think all of us in a weird way, we linked up 6-7 years ago to play fucking Top Golf. We were there, we were banging balls, I was like, it's all in the technique. You guys know I'm an elite golfer. Tomorrow I have a lesson, by the way. If you need a lesson, shout me. Right? But we're all creative in our own kind of aspects, you're doing this dance thing, which obviously gives you endorphins, decreases cortisol levels, so it makes you less stressed. We know that happens with exercise. And you're just trying to make people smile, which is cute, isn't it? It's cute. Let's take a look. It's cute, man. It's cute. But at the end of the day, he's trying to come out of that box of that 9-to-5 shit. He's trying to start something of his own, and he's trying to bring awareness to who Lavan is. So in the future, if you feel that you can gain knowledge from him, he's making that accessible to you. In the same way with my poetry stuff, in the same way with CJ's beats.
Yeah. And even I'll say,
and songs,
what
obviously,
really
coming
helped
out with the
me,
songs too.
In terms of Krishna Consciousness, one of the important factors that came across it was the fact that we as souls are the servants.
Yeah.
And everyone out here is trying to be an enjoyer, but they don't know who the real enjoyer is. And we always know that Krishna is the enjoyer. He's the supreme goal.
Yes, sir.
And I break it to you like that, and it's just whoa, what?
It does make people step back.
And the whole fact that now you're a servant makes you realize that everything that you're doing is meant to be service to God,
Yeah.
you know? And that's helped me in terms of my work, when I'm working 9 to 5,
Yeah.
you know, when I'm
You feel
doing,
more serene.
I feel more like I can actually go 9 to 5
Yeah.
because I know that I'm not doing this for my enjoyment,
Yeah.
but I'm doing this as service.
Yeah. You're doing that
No?
to feed back to the society that you
Exactly.
live in.
You're
that you
serving.
exist in.
You're serving. So I work in
Yeah, what do
housing
you do, man?
association.
Yeah,
No
tell
one knows what
everyone.
you do.
I work at Network Homes.
Man's been like, okay, listen, I'm a spiritual guy, and like,
That's it.
like obviously you have to exist in the society as well
Yeah,
in
yeah.
order to like function,
Yeah.
right? But he's using his overarching belief to sort of govern his track through life,
Yeah.
right? And I think a way in which we can make this sort of stand out to people more in terms of like surrendering yourself, because it sounds very harsh the way it's put. You know, if you say, oh yeah, you have to surrender to God, like people are probably like, oh, I'm not going to surrender to anyone. This is my life, you know?
Yeah.
And that's
Kind
why.
of thing.
And
But
that's why.
that's what the misconception is about it, because it's essentially that higher power, whatever it is,
Yeah.
whether if you believe in law of attraction, guess what, mate? You believe in a higher power.
Yeah.
You know, if you're Muslim, if you're Christian, if you're Jewish, if you're Hindu, you believe in that higher power
Yeah.
that has given us all of this abundance. And I
True
think
that.
all of us here believe in universal abundance, and that's accessible to us if we follow the right path and if we show gratitude in whatever form it may be. But Lavan's way of showing gratitude is towards Krishna,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly,
which
yeah.
he believes is, I mean, you can
Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord.
Supreme Lord, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I kind of related to you like the other day, man. And
But
that's
you
why,
know-
like we were talking for like 2 hours, by the way, guys. Like,
It's just like if I told this to someone, they're just gonna not really take it
Yeah.
that well, because in order for you to understand this properly, you would have to kind of gain some faith. You need to start, you need to start
anything.
a bit more, getting into it and starting to, slowly get some faith in this. And how do you do that? And the only way you can do this is by association with devotees, with people who are Krishna conscious, because when you start associating with them, then their qualities start to rub on you.
Yeah,
So
no, for sure.
you start developing those good qualities that devotees have, and especially even devotees. But when you start associating with gurus, with Gurudev, with the higher class Vaishnavas and the higher class devotees and pure devotees, that's where you get the real discipline, and you start to humble yourself.
Yeah.
And when you start serving the devotees and the the Vaishnavas and the Gurudev, then you start to gain more faith, and you'll start to become more humble, and you'll start to understand it more.
Yeah.
But in the West, like Prabhupada says, the West is just completely destroyed.
Distorted, yeah.
It's destroyed, and it's just people are just everywhere running around like cats and dogs, like he says.
Yeah. and what he means by that is like, I guess the whole world doesn't really have structure because of how instant gratification drives the society, and how we're all kind of a victim of our own base desires.
That's true.
It's literally just
You
a
know?
lot of confusion right now.
Like what was funny, and we might have to blur this out, but Lavan was saying that he doesn't work anymore, you know what I mean? Right?
Oh,
And
yeah,
like
yeah,
that's something that like a lot of men do anyways, like from the age of like 13.
I would
Basically
say
ejaculate out precious energy that you could be using for other things.
Yeah, it's
Especially transmutation, isn't it?
I'm
Yeah,
not even
exactly.
joking though, but it is
No, but
vital. bro. It's a
we've all,
it's a vital
read on
thing.
it.
Yeah.
It's vital for you.
Like what have you read on it?
Like just the benefits, how when you instead of like jerking off and that, when you actually hone your sexual energy, you can transmute it into something else.
Exactly.
And you can manifest what you actually, what your
Yeah.
main purpose is in your life. Bro.
Literally.
Instead of the desires that are going to corrupt you, because
Yeah.
it's psychologically based. Like porn is psychologically
Yeah.
based to trigger you to the maximum amount,
yeah.
right? That's why there's directors for that shit.
And,
Literally.
Who
and
study human psychology.
Exactly.
think about it though, you're
know what I
never
mean?
satisfied, no matter how much you try to watch at that. Bro.
Yeah.
Of
yeah.
course.
Never satisfied,
course.
and you're gonna constantly keep chasing, and that's the thing. Desire
course.
never goes. It's just
It's
gonna
like
keep
saying
desiring.
you can't satisfy the flesh at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
They don't know like how it can mentally affect you.
And the reason why it's like that is because it's so normalized now.
Yeah, literally.
Everything's just trying to get more
Sex
sexualized.
is normalized because of how much it's used as a lever in marketing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They sexualize everything that you could possibly imagine so that you will crave that thing. Because we know it's what makes us weak, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what makes men tremble in their boots is seeing a beautiful woman, man. I swear to God, like, they'll get scared, they'll get shook, they'll be like, oh, I can't even speak to that goddess right now.
You can't because you're busy watching porn every day. Exactly.
Exactly.
And
then when you're outside and you see a 3D person,
man's looking down all the time.
Man's like, creative direct.
Yeah, like, it just blows your whole self-confidence as well.
But yeah, back to your surroundings and your environment, right? Like, I have this on my Zanwords page, and it's like, ever wondered why you're addicted to lowering your vibration from time to time? And that means in the 4 pillars that you mentioned in Krishna Consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Which is abstaining from sex, illicit sex, you said,
Illicit sex, yeah.
which is outside of marriage, obviously, drugs, alcohol, and meat, you said as well, right? I do have an answer for your meat question.
And also
the other day.
no gambling.
And no gambling.
Oh yeah, so you got the whole answer to the question I asked you that day.
Yeah, of course.
So tell him what the question was.
He asked me why in my religion we can eat meat, and why like, Christianity and Judaism actually, why all of these religions can eat meat, right? I'll get back to that one, mate. But yeah, first I just wanted to like sort of go over the only thing that changes our long-term life or trajectory is when we raise our standards. And that is by surrounding ourselves with the right kind of people. So when you said, okay, I need to surround myself with devotees, that's perfect, you know? And like for me, like I'm pretty meticulous, you know? Like I like to surround myself with people who are good in the areas that I want to expand out into. Right? And because I want to improve my spirituality, I want to be more at peace and, like you said, happy and fulfilled, I'm surrounding myself with, you know, spiritual people who do like read up on the subject and who try and like strengthen themselves through shadow work, you know? And I'll introduce you both to Yash at some point, who is also like on this kind of journey with me, right? And no, it's exciting, obviously. But yeah, I say that to say that you're basically the culmination of your 5 best friends. You know what I mean?
I remember
like,
you said that to me that day,
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if you're going through this journey
crazy
of self-discovery and figuring out what you're destined to do,
more like
there'll be distraction otherwise.
Yeah.
If you go for people who are not in,
you end up becoming the people you're around.
Exactly.
You know, it's very crazy, man. Like even my little brother, like I remember there was a point where he just chilled with his mates and he came back home, and he was dropping all these like words. Like I was like.
Yeah, you pick up slang very quickly.
Where are you learning that from, bro?
Bro, when I link up with a new girl and I've been seeing her for like 3 months, I swear she talks like me, bro. I swear to God, she'll come to me, she'll use my kind of slang, and I'm like, wait, you were a posh girl before I met you, you know?
Speaking the Queen's English.
Speaking the Queen's English, and now you're saying blood. Like, I'm not blood. Don't call me blood. Am I bleeding? No. You know?
You get easily influenced.
But we get easily influenced because, you know, at the end of the day, if we don't feed like the center that is our brain, which is what separates us from apes, then we are just apes. Monkey see, monkey do, bro. Like we see our dad like taking out the trash. We're like, okay, cool, that's what man does. You know, we see him at his desk working. We're like, that's what man does. You know, and then we get fed by our mom and sister, or whatever, and we think that women do that. You know what I mean? We grow up with these like fundamental ideas on life, and then we expand out of it based on who we surround ourselves with.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, that is true. It's true, because I remember when I was during my young days, I ended up becoming a complete roadman because I was just around roadmen.
Of course, that's how it goes. Yeah, man, like low key.
I don't even remember him. What's his name, bro? The guy who went to our sixth form, Queens. He was a proper road guy, innit?
I don't.
Cena. Is it Cena?
Yeah,
bro, that guy.
Yo, I used to chill with him a lot, and that's probably why, you know how it goes, I guess, you know.
I remember one time, this is a bit bare random, yeah, but one time I think we were all sitting around the table, yeah, and we were eating at some fast food place, right? And there was some nuggets in it, and he was basically eating some nuggets, yeah, and everyone else was eating nuggets as well, and some of them dropped out in it, out the box, and then he was like to everyone like, yo, dash it in, bro, dash it in. And I was just like, what? Why don't you just like say put it in?
Yeah, man.
But that's one of them random things, you know. I was proper laughing, by the way.
No, this guy has shown me a lifestyle that I'll probably never exist in. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I don't know if you know this,
Yeah.
right? But back in sixth form, you know all of them, and they kind of go out in the gates and they kind of do some, they engage in illegal activities, right? For lack of a better word, right?
Yeah, let's say that.
And we were there for about 2 hours. I didn't indulge. I was asked plenty of times. And
Peer pressure.
after about 2 hours, I kind of got a little bit shook, and I kind of left because there was man them on the floor. There was man them bleeding. I was
Oh,
like,
shit.
this is not the
Got
path that
heated.
my parents brought me up to become, you know. So yeah, man, you just become what you exist around, and you know sometimes it is a smart move to not chill with the cool kid just because they're cool.
True.
You know what I mean? And that's why I did it, right? That's why most kids do it.
Sometimes you've got to do things for yourself,
Yeah.
not to please other people and trying to like fit in.
But you know, that's another thing that's kind of an issue with society, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone wants
It's like
to be
everyone
part
wants
of
to like be around each other just because of loyalty.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the one
because-
thing I proper regret about my life was the fact
Yeah.
that I tried to mix in with people. When
No,
really,
because when you mixed in, you didn't know what kind of people they were, and you
Yeah,
weren't
yeah.
old enough to make a decision of like, oh, I have to leave this, or you weren't aware of it because you didn't read up or whatever. But no one reads as a kid because we're
Yeah.
not taught to read as a kid.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But you know, if you were just being you and you were just doing what you wanted to really do, rather than mixing with
Exactly,
the people you don't want to
exactly.
be with, you would have
When
a
you're
completely different
so-
life, man. And you might even be
Yeah.
a completely different person as well.
True.
When you're so engaged in your purpose, like you're not gonna be seeing anything else, innit? It's tunnel vision,
Yeah.
and that's what you have in it right now. You have
Trust
tunnel
me.
vision, alive. So, any thoughts, CJ?
Nah, yeah. Any thoughts? My thoughts. Yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? This whole your
Because this is
transformation,
completely
innit?
new to you. You didn't have
yeah.
that little first introduction conversation that I had with Lavan after a while.
Like,
Is there
what-
any questions
Like, how do you
would
see
ask?
him now? That's one
Yeah.
question that I have for
No,
you.
I've got a little bit more respect for you for putting in that work in yourself, for stopping for a moment and evaluating yourself, being like, okay, I feel like I'm not doing this right. I feel like I could be here and that, and then actually putting in the work for yourself. So yeah, there's a bit more respect that that I have for that reason. When you were going through the transformation, like, what did your initial friends and family, how did they react?
Oh right.
That's a big question.
Well, at the start, they were sort of just like they didn't really know what it was, and then as slowly as I started to develop more faith in this, and I started to associate more with devotees that are, because we have devotees that live in Groombridge, which is like
Where the
near
hell
the
is
Kent
Groombridge,
side,
man?
isn't it?
Oh,
It's near
Kent.
It's like-
Countryside.
Yeah, it's like
Makes sense.
sort of near Essex, and if you go down
Makes sense.
further down, then there's like Tunbridge Wells,
Yeah.
and it's like a sort of countryside area, and we have devotees over there, and I started going over there and staying over, and that's when my mum and dad were just like, whoa, like, where's he going? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then they slowly I started to chant in my house,
Yeah.
and they'll see me and they'll just be like, whoa, like, what's this?
Yeah.
And my mum was always favourable. She did understand it. There was
Yeah.
obviously some kind of like, oh, but
'Cause
isn't it a
isn't
bit too,
like
isn't it
the-
a bit too much?
Yeah.
You know?
Isn't
My
the
mum was
religion like close, like the Hare Krishna, like Krishna Consciousness? Is it close to like the Hinduism that they practice?
There are some similarities, but
I mean, like, I believe there's similarities in every religion.
there is.
You know what I mean?
There is, but there is also like a lot of difference as well, because I had to give up eating meat and I had to give up eating onions and garlic.
Yeah.
You know? And that was a very good thing that I did, and it also helped me to gain more faith as well.
All right. So you know what we'll do right now? we'll be like, we'll pose the question: is veganism good or bad?
Is
Go on.
veganism good or bad? It's good. It's good.
So obviously, from your
But there's
perspective,
also
you believe
some
in
things
veganism
that-
now. Why?
Why do I believe in it? Because
Yeah.
it is sort of favourable to what I'm doing as well.
Yeah.
You know, because Krishna, Supreme Lord, he accepts only prasad, and prasad is only food that is in the mode of goodness. So foods are classed into 3 types, which is goodness, passion, and ignorance. And
Wow, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, that's all of it.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Passion?
goodness,
Yeah.
passion, and ignorance.
Okay.
And meat and onions and garlic and stuff is in the mode of ignorance and passion.
Okay.
And
Why is it passion versus ignorance? Can you break that down?
As in what the difference is?
Yeah, because now I'm actually just curious.
Passion is more like your desires, isn't it? So
No, I know what it is. But
it
like,
increases your desires.
Okay, so that food increases your desires and increases your ignorance.
And ignorance, whatever you eat that's in the mode of ignorance is going to make you more ignorant as well. And in a way, it's sort of towards. So Krishna, Krishna only accepts food that's in the mode of goodness. And in the mode of goodness means you don't really get anything in the mode of passion or ignorance. So you don't have like desire or like you don't really eat food that is pungent and like it's very not favorable.
Yeah.
And
well, meat we know is like a heavier substance that stays in your bloodstream for a longer time.
Yeah.
And you often have the consequence of extra fat because of that, which then doesn't allow you to move as freely or as agile, and I guess it kind of gives your arteries some blockages over time. So I understand like the vein in which that knowledge is coming from.
It's like the acidic foods and alkaline foods.
Exactly. Exactly. And so even like when I was explaining to you why we don't eat meat, it's because obviously humans have a soul, but animals also have a soul.
Yeah.
They also have a soul. They're like us, but their consciousness is not as high as our consciousness.
Yeah.
We have the ability, because even human birth is rare.
Yeah.
It's rare to have a human birth. I know my mates were actually discussing today. My devotee mates, they were discussing like, how many people in this population are actually humans?
Yeah.
And we got some figures, and and we're just discussing that. But
I
the
got
whole
some figures,
I got the facts, the figures.
Facts and
figures, bring it out, bro.
But
it's human birth is rare, man. It's rare, and it's the only birth where you can actually be Krishna conscious, because animals, they don't have that mentality to even think about God, but we can, and humans are the only species that can do Krishna consciousness. So to even take birth as a human, bro, is very rare, and I never knew that before. And then after I found out, I was just like, that does make sense,
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
So you had a question for me, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, cool. So we found a lot of similarities in like my religion. I'm Muslim. I don't preach that I'm like really religious at this point in my life. So don't think that. All right, please. Don't take me as a scholar or whatever. But he asked me why Muslims eat meat if they believe so many parallel elements of consciousness, like surrendering to your Lord, abstaining from illicit sex, drugs, alcohol, which take you away from having God in your mind at all times, and then if you don't have God in your mind at all times, then you're not allowing him to steer you in the directions that you're supposed to be going in.
That's what I was discussing to you about Mahamaya and Yogamaya, There's two
exactly.
different potencies of Krishna.
Exactly, and we'll get into that, right?
Yeah.
But you asked me why Muslims still eat meat, right? And I was explaining, like, at the beginning, like, obviously in Islam we're supposed to go out of our way to, like, pray on the animal that we're sacrificing, because there's a story about this prophet called Ibrahim, and how he had to sacrifice something he kept dearly to him. Like God said, obviously he didn't want him to actually do this, but like, if you love me so much because like you messed up as punishment, like kill your son, and in place of his son he put a lamb, and that's now sacrificed in the pilgrimage, called Hajj, right? So it stems back to that sacrifice of like, okay, cool, you can use this to feed you and the people around you, and because like back in the day when all of these religious scriptures were being brought up and established in society, that was the food that was readily accessible, at the time, right? And in the Quran it actually says, and obviously in the Bible as well, it says, eat from it, and this sacrifice you should feed the poor and needy, who can't access the other nutrients that you're supposed to be having.
So like what you're trying to say basically is that that time there were only sort of just animals and not like other
There
things
was
to eat.
there was other things
There
to
was
eat,
other
100%, right? But what was readily accessible and what was often given to the poor and needy to feed the whole population, because nowadays things are genetically modified to be mass produced, right? Which is obviously not the greatest way of doing it at all, which is why a lot of people aren't vegan nowadays, right? But there wasn't enough science and research behind feeding a whole population of the world. There wasn't enough vegan products, there wasn't enough vegan meals to feed the whole entire population. Only the richest of the rich would get, like, you know, the fruits and everything like this, right? So I say that, but at the same time, in my religion, it's actually said that it's permissible if the law of the land, or if the land itself doesn't provide you with the alternatives, you know, because it is lustful to kill an animal because they still have a soul, and we do believe that. But it's not a command to eat meat, but we just have permission to eat meat because we're supposed to feed off what God has given us, and that's like kind of the thinking behind it.
I see what you mean. So it's like you've kind of have permission to do so.
We have permission to do so, but like if we can avoid it, that's what is actually.
But that's
said.
really crazy because, you know, even in Christianity, Jesus says, he says, "Thou shalt not kill." And even Prabhupada states this, you know. He's like, why are Christians killing animals when Jesus says that thou shalt not kill? You know, you shouldn't kill. And that's a very important thing, you know. Like, you say something, you don't even follow it.
But at the same time, you have to understand that there is like extenuating circumstances, and those circumstances might be I can't feed my family, so I have to kill an animal, you know, or when you're in war and when you're in battle, you're going to have to kill human beings, aren't you? In
a way,
to
I sort of
survive,
understand
to
that
protect your
because, you
family.
know, in the Vedas, in the scriptures, it tells us that
This is a
some
conversation.
you know, some animals, you know, like they used to actually kill those animals so they can get liberated to human birth. They can become human. You know? If they kill them, then they become a human. So in a way, it was good to kill that animal. So in relation to that, I understand what you mean. But at the same time, we need to understand that all animals have a soul, just like us, and they're just like us as well. You know, like. But like we can't differentiate that because we're humans. We have that higher consciousness. Doesn't mean that we can just go around killing other animals. You know. So.
I guess that makes sense because if the whole reincarnation thing does exist,
because even in our previous births,
then
we're animals.
I would probably be a vegan myself if I believe that, you know. But I just haven't delved into that whole thing yet. Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
and I might do it.
To be honest, if you guys tried to not eat meat, you know, give it a try.
I couldn't do it now, for sure, because my meals.
Do you crave it?
No, not really. It's just, I mean, I guess I do, obviously, right? Like, if I'm being real with myself, like, fucking, if you give me chicken right now, it'll be mashed in 10 minutes. It'll be mashed. Chicken wrap, chicken burger, whatever you want to do. Chicken curry, butter chicken, sharp.
But you got so many, bro, listen, you got so many vegetables. You got so much other things.
But that's what I'm saying. Right now, in the day and age that we live in, there's an abundance of vegan options, which is why I see how...
It's funny
people
today.
Like you have
it's funny
come
because
into
today,
veganism.
bro, when I was just about to leave to obviously do this podcast. My mum was watching some Gordon Ramsay thing on TV. And there was this geezer that went to a vegetarian restaurant, innit? And he was just there like getting interviewed by obviously the people there. And he was just like, "You right there, mate? Yeah, I'm alright. Are you in a vegetarian restaurant? Yeah, mate. But you know, to be honest, if meat is not on the plate, then it's not really a feast for me, is it? It's not really a meal."
But it's habitual at the same time, you know. Like,
and that
if
just
you
like
grow up
that just
having
like
meat,
inside it went to me like, whoa, like, bro, I can't believe that shit, you know. And my mum was just like, like, it is what it is, you know. It is what it is.
I mean, you know, the world is changing, man. Like, Adiolo's trying to chill with the geezers now. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different life that we live nowadays. You know what I'm saying? If Adiola's chilling with the geezers, then you know that the world has changed slightly. You get me? But what, like CJ, you didn't really. What do you think about the whole veganism?
Yeah, so
Like,
what's your
trip?
opinion
My
on it?
thing is, like, I understand, like, you know, the thought process behind it, because it does make sense in it, like,
Yeah.
in terms
We
of
had a
that.
heated conversation, and we need you to make sense of this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it goes with that what I was saying about like alkaline foods and like acidic foods. Yeah, I think meat is more acidic. Like for me personally, obviously I still eat meat, you know.
Yeah.
But like still, but
Why obviously? Why you specifically? Huh? Can you explain?
To be honest,
that
I would
people?
already
What
know
do
if
you
someone
mean?
eats meat or not, you know?
put me on the spot on that. But what's it? What did you say?
Yeah, like I would always know, like majority of people I know they eat meat straight away. I don't even have to question it, unless I see like,
Why?
you know, like, oh shit, yeah, you don't eat meat, bro. Like that's some
Yeah.
mad thing, you know. If I know someone that doesn't eat meat, that's just like raw, like cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
You're
a lot
one
of
step
them,
closer.
Time to time again, I watch like spiritual YouTubers and that.
Yeah.
A lot of them like stopped eating meat and like gone onto like a vegan diet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like, because from that I understand the reasons why. Yeah. For me, for anything, I'd cut down on meat. I'd cut down on it. Like I've completely given up. I'm not at that point yet.
So you
I
want to
would
give
do.
up
I would do that so that
Yeah.
you know.
So what's your
there's
reason
less
for that? Though?
scarcity.
What's your reason
you know?
to give up meat? Though? Is it because of health benefits?
Yeah, because of a lot more like in terms of like your well-being, your energy, your like even your skin and all that, and just I know there's a lot of health benefits to eating like a more plant-based
Exactly, and
diet.
there's also, to be honest, there's a huge spiritual benefit.
Yeah.
I'd have to do research on like what meals to make, because
Yeah.
obviously I still want that kind of protein equivalent.
Yeah.
And
Well, you got so many things you
there
can
are
eat that
some
protein.
like vegan bodybuilders on YouTube that I'll show you later on.
And there was
We'll
this
link in the
documentary I
description.
watched actually where they were like comparing vegan athletes to athletes that eat meat, and surprisingly, the vegan athletes actually perform better than the athletes that ate meat.
Yeah, I mean,
And if you compare, like I think it was Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. I think Nate Diaz was vegan, or I can't remember off the top of my head. And Conor McGregor was meat eater, full on meat eater, and he was actually eating steak, and they were filming him eating steak, and he was just there like, yeah, man, some food, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
but he's a geezer, man.
he is a
Yeah,
geezer,
so-
man. But
But
you know,
yeah, no, there's a lot of like both conspiracy as well as studies going on, like vegan versus meat eaters, and there is a lot backing the meat eaters obviously as well.
Yeah.
But now studies are coming into fruition that some vegan athletes, when they're performing at their optimum, can outdo some meat eaters.
yeah,
So for sure. But like going back to the you can't eat a living soul,
yeah,
right? Do you also believe that plants are living things?
yes, they are
So
also living
what
things.
is your what have you learned about that entitles you to
It's a
have
good question. It's a good
this
question.
or
you know?
ingest this? Because
that is actually
my
a
thought
question
process
that
behind that is that you can have it because again it's that abundance that the Lord has given out to the people. You know, or that the creator, whoever it was, whether you believe in the Big Bang, whoever it was, you know.
Yeah, I mean, even like in Krishna Consciousness, like they say that, okay, you want to eat meat, okay, eat meat, but don't eat cows,
Yeah,
because cows are very, very like
sacred. you were saying.
sacred, man. They're very important, you know, and
Yeah.
because also
Now I
Krishna.
feel bad every time I ate a steak. You know, when Lavan's talking, I'm like, yo, I went to
Yeah.
Portugal and had bare steaks. You know? But yeah,
Yeah, man. And you know, even Krishna, like in his leelas, in his pastimes, he was a cowherd boy. You know,
Yeah.
he was serving the cows and he's looking after the cows. And you
Yeah.
know, to kill a cow is like, you know, very bad. You know, because Krishna he loved cows, and cows have that relationship with us that we don't even know.
because he came from the origin of a cowherd boy.
Yeah, and he has these pastimes, these leelas that were, you know, where he was like, you know, helping cows and, you know, serving them and stuff.
Yeah,
So we take cows very seriously, you know, like you can kill these animals, but definitely no, you can't kill cows.
yeah,
Cows off limits.
yeah. Yo,
Yeah.
if Lavan's around and you have a knife next to a cow, he's gonna beat you up.
Yeah, be
you
very
know?
careful, man.
Can't lie. He's gonna do a dance move and kick you bicycle kick, man.
It's full on hail night now, guys. We got sun and we got hail as well.
At the same time,
This is English.
this is what happens when you're in London. You're trying to film a podcast, but you can't go into your house because it's very far away, and There people don't have time right now. You know, we're busy people and that. We just came back from work. You know.
But yeah.
Anything else you have to add, mate? Before we sign off.
Nah, bro. I think we need to sign off. We need
Sign off.
Kilimanjaro.
Stay
Lavan.
humble.
Stay humble.
But yeah, no, for real. Check out his dance. He just wants to make people smile.
Yeah, check out my
what's the
YouTube.
channel called?
LavvinLife.
LavvinLife. We'll put that.
LavvinLife.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll put it to
In the description, yeah. You see my poetry? You know what it is. It's Zan words in the description as well.
Cheers.
Colin's beat page. What is it?
Cold Dusty.
Hey.
Oh, Dusty, there you go. And yeah, subscribe to the channel.
Peace
We're
out.
gonna be back with a new guest next time.
Hey, yo, bro. Look at that, mate. Damn.